Hey guys, it's Nicole Bosco here. It's been a while since I did one of these videos, so I figured what better time than now. We have UFC 212 coming up this weekend, Saturday, June 3rd. That's happening in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. We got a couple other things going on in the news recently that I want to touch on a little bit, so we'll get started. I'll start off with the main event of UFC 212. We have Jose Aldo versus Max Holloway. That is for the featherweight unification bout. That Jose Aldo is the title holder in that. He won the interim title when he beat Frankie Edgar at UFC 200. Then when Conor McGregor moved up to lightweight, Jose Aldo became the champion of that division. Max Holloway just defeated Anthony Pettis for the interim belt. So now the two of them will fight to see who the real champion will be. Not a big hype around this fight, I don't think. No, anywhere but I've heard of. Jose Aldo, he looked great in his last fight at UFC 200 against Frankie. He looked amazing. The fight before that was the Conor McGregor fight where he lost in 13 seconds. A lot of people are claiming that he's done. He's not as good as he once was. I don't believe that's true. I think there was a lot more factors going into the Conor fight than just skill. He was supposed to fight Conor in July of that year. He had to pull out due to injury. And then the whole rigmarole of the Conor McGregor and the press conferences and the way that Conor McGregor represents himself, and it's just, I think he really gets in people's heads. I really don't think you can fault Jose Aldo for his performance in that fight. I think he was defeated before he even walked into the octagon. That being said, I think if we see the type of Jose Aldo that we saw in Las Vegas at UFC 200 against Frankie Edgar, I think he looked great. If we see that kind of Jose Aldo, the Jose Aldo of old, if you will, I think that he is going to defeat Max Holloway, and I'm not sure if we'll ever see him fight Conor again. I don't know how much longer he has left in this sport, but I think if he is the way he used to be, I think we could see him winning. Max Holloway, his last loss was to Conor McGregor. Since then, that was in 2013. Since then, he's won 10 in a row. He's the only fighter in, I think, that division that has won his last 10 fights. His last fight against Anthony Pettis, Pettis didn't make weight, so I don't know if he was really at his best, but I'm not taking anything from Max Holloway. He is an amazing fighter. I think this fight is going to be great. The co-main event of that fight is the strawweight bout, Claudia Gadelha against Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I'm excited for this fight. I think they are both top fighters. Either of them could go for a title shot at any time, and they have. They just both recently fought Joanna Jędrzejczyk and lost. I'm not sure if the winner of this fight will get a title shot. That, I think, goes to Rose Namajunas if Joanna stays in this division. She has been talking about moving up to 125 now that the UFC has created that division. They're crowning the champion of that division with a season of The Ultimate Fighter that has not begun filming yet. They just had tryouts for that division. So the winner of that season will become the champion of that division. I believe that person will fight Joanna Jędrzejczyk for their first defense. I don't know when that will be. If Joanna has another shot at strawweight, I believe she will be fighting Rose Namajunas. If she were to leave that division, as Conor did, become a two-division champ, if she goes to 125, I believe that they will also take the one belt away. She will be able to hold the two, and then she will stay at 125, I believe, and then the 115 belt will be either Rose versus the winner of this fight, Claudia or Karolina, or these two might be fighting for the belt. Talking about that season of The Ultimate Fighter, there's a bunch of really good fighters trying out for this season. Also, I'm sure there will be fighters that will be added to the 125 division that are not in the top house, Mackenzie Dern being one of them. The UFC, I believe they'll bring her in, but will want to keep her a little bit behind, like they did with Paige Van Zandt when they had that season where they crowned Carla Esparza. I believe that they'll try and hold her back a little bit, protect her a little bit, bring her up as they did Paige Van Zandt or Sage Northcutt. And eventually, if she does well, she will get a shot. The third fight is Vitor Belfort against Nate Marquardt. I believe that Vitor said that this will be his last fight. First he said it was going to be his retirement fight, now he's saying it's his last fight in the UFC. He has plans to go to Bellator. He wants to fight some of the guys that are in Bellator. He threw out some ideas about a league just for older fighters. With less rounds, less damage taken, but who knows what will become of him. Some other news that's been going on is with the UFC women's featherweight division. Jermaine Durandamy is the champion of that division. Just recently came out yesterday, I believe it was, on her Instagram saying that her focus is to move back to 135. Well, you're the champion at 145. What are you doing? We've been waiting for her to step up and fight Cris Cyborg. Cris Cyborg has been signed to the UFC for a while now, under the assumption that one day she would be able to fight at her natural weight 145. We've been waiting for that fight. They started this division with 2 135ers. They haven't added anyone else to this division. They need to either strip Jermaine Durandamy and set up a fight with Cris Cyborg, or just give her the belt as they did with Ronda Rousey when they started the 135 division. They started off with Ronda Rousey as a champ. Here you go. They either need to do that with Cris Cyborg and sign some more 145ers, or they need to set up a fight with Cris Cyborg, Kat Zingano, if you will, if she's going to stay at 145, or sign Megan Anderson, who is the Invicta 145 champion at this time, and they both have agreed to fight each other. Cris Cyborg also just recently got into some trouble at the UFC retreat when she punched Angela Magana for talking crap about her on the internet. I'm not sure if the UFC is going to punish her at all. She's been charged with a misdemeanor assault, I believe it is. Since it did happen at a UFC event, I believe that the UFC should punish her in some way, although they need her to fight this summer for this belt. Depending on what happens, I'm not sure what they're going to be doing with that. That's all I have to say for you today. If you leave me some comments, hit me up on Twitter at NickBoss, NIKBOS, or leave me some comments on YouTube. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want me to talk about next time. We know we got Bellator NYC coming up soon. That's going to be in Madison Square Garden. I will be at that show covering it. If you're going to be there, hit me up. We'll maybe meet up.